Oh yeah.
You know, you're not still on vacation.
I'm still mentally. I'm still gone.
Up here, I'm already gone.
But I am here at least for episode 141 of the EriDan Film Festival as we continue on the Harry Potter train of movie reviews and discussions. So this night honestly is again. This is the night to join in. If you've been waiting, you're like, I don't know, I'm not familiar with those movies. You probably are familiar with this movie. So let's talk Harry Potter. This is going to be fun because we get to go down this rabbit hole. Although Dan is experiencing the Harry Potter universe for the first time.
I am.
The HPU, if you will.
I am a first-time HPU person. Each time we do one of these movies, it's the first time I've watched it. Yeah. Although I believe this is the one that I woke up to when I fell asleep with the other, when we were watching, I think 2, and it just went right into 3 and right into 4.
Well, now you should be caught up.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah, now you're at least a little bit caught up. You just missed all of episode 3 of movie 3. That was a good
Adam's here.
Oh my gosh, Adam is here. Now I am very excited about this because as you know, Adam has been here since the very first episode of the EriDan Film Festival.
Yes, he missed Clutch Radio on Saturday. I was worried sick about him, but here
I know. But and he's been begging for this, so this is for Adam. In the beginning, there was. There you go. It's monumental.
Wow.
There we go. All right. Just like that.
Made out of a beard?
I did find a beard font.
He was at Ocean Shores. Okay. I guess they don't have internet at Ocean Shores.
All right.
Service. That's okay.
That's all right. That's no. Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit, but that's all right. So this is your opportunity, Dan. How do people join us if they want to come and talk Harry Potter?
There are many different ways.
They can hang out in the comments like Adam. Or they can join us at EriDan Live.
EriDanLive.com.
Oh, it's so easy.
Yep.
So we're looking for some first timers tonight. Don't be afraid. Jump in. It's going to be a party. And let's get in some not first timers while we wait. Shall we? The writers are here. Finally. No, I'm kidding. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. I feel like $100.
And look, Wade's wearing an EriDan shirt, which you can get at EriDanShop.com.
Man, and where would you find such a shirt?
Right there, EriDanShop.com.
Oh man. And maybe a sale. Maybe we'll have a sale. We'll think about that during this episode. Maybe we'll announce a sale at the end of the episode.
New merch?
New merch? No, not new merch.
There is a new Clutch shirt, the highfalutin talk.
That's true. You could get a Clutch Radio shirt. And probably the person who owns the most of our shirts would be Brittany.
One ring to the moon. One ring.
It's Brittany.
Tri-Wizard champion Brittany is here.
Oh, it's true.
Is it true?
It is. Ask Brian. He'll tell you. He wrote a Harry Potter themed D&D campaign.
And,
he had the Tri-Wizard tournament in it, and I won it.
Wow, that is nerddom on top of nerddom. I like the multiplayer.
Y'all are sitting with royalty, and you didn't even know.
All right.
Wow. Speaking of royalty.
It is Brian. Brian who chose the movie this week, who kept the Harry Potter train going.
I did.
The Hogwarts Express is only on track because of Brian, so thank you for that. We appreciate it.
And since we don't have an intro yet for this next guy, because it's only his second live appearance,
I know.
I'll donate my intro.
What?
I'll donate my intro since my.
Oh, you're going to play your intro for him?
Intro.
Sure, go for it.
I'm the warrior.
Scott. It is great, Scott. Just like that.
Oh, yeah.
Great Scott.
How are you?
From the future. I want to tell you what movie we're reviewing today.
This is quite the uniform you're wearing here.
Well, you know what? If you think it's weird that I'm wearing a Hawaiian shirt for the summer and the winter, for the beard too, oh, thanks. I just figured, because I just saw a movie that is kind of trying to be two different things that don't match. I should actually make my outfit match it too. So,
you went and saw Quantumania.
Yes. Exactly.
I have not. No spoilers.
No spoilers. Okay.
No spoilers, of course. And
Scott, I was just going to say, caller, could you turn your shirt down? Much better.
so
Thank
wrong.
you.
Speaking of getting turned down. Crumb.
Hi there.
Crumb is here.
I had
How
to
you
scroll
doing?
to find Dave. My
Oh
screen. I was like, oh wait, he is down there.
Yes, he is.
Way down there.
Way
I don't have my big
way
screen
down
going.
there.
Way.
So
Not way down there.
Adam's setting the tone. But here we go into Harry Potter land. I know you're all excited about this. I know. We've only got 17 more movies after this.
We're halfway. Halfway.
Yeah.
No, I know. I agree. We are halfway.
Unless
Yeah,
you're trying to do all
Fantastic
three Fantastic
We're not
Beasts. Yeah.
halfway. Yeah.
Oh, we
All
don't need
right.
to count them.
Goblet of Fire. All right. You know who it's starring. It wasn't directed by Steven Spielberg. Might have been better. On my part.
That's the first one.
Wow.
People were talking to me. They were yelling that my camera wasn't on. I was very busy.
When Crumb turned into a mechanical shark, it was really interesting.
Right.
That's true. $150 million budget, $896 million on the gross, and the critics at an 88, and the audience at a 74. Brian.
Byron
Byron
Everybody with
Saxton.
the wrong name tonight. Steven Spielberg, whatever you got. Brian, besides keeping the train going, did you actually have a love for this movie, or you just wanted to keep it going?
I just wanted to keep it going, I guess. I really like, I don't even know how I can spin it. I like mermaids. There's mermaids in this movie, even though they're kind of ugly, scary ones.
Different take
Yeah.
on the mermaids. Well, let's go to Dan first off, since Dan has never seen this movie before.
Not conscious, at least. I think that when you have $150 million, it's amazing what you can do.
Oh yeah, the effects.
Yeah, and
it's
opening
pretty
with a dream, and then he wakes up in bed. I mean, what a ridiculous idea! Like, why would anybody open a movie with a dream and then you wake up in bed?
I was really confused when Tiffany was playing a snake.
Yeah, why was Tiffany in there?
It's
It's
lazy writing. That's all that is.
With Tiffany as the Hungarian horntail.
And then the eye patch guy with the eyeball that's on the eye patch,
Barry Crouch.
Steve Bannon, fantastic job. I didn't know he could act.
Not Emily.
He looked just like Steve Bannon.
I don't know who that is, but okay.
Right.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Who knows who that person is?
Your life is better not knowing who Steve Bannon is.
My life is typically.
I like the movie just like I like the other ones. I don't love them. They're not. You'd think they'd be my cup of tea. The last one had some time travel.
So you're not planning a trip to Universal anytime soon.
I mean,
you don't feel the desire to race to Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
the last time I was at Universal a few months ago, I was there late. We had dinner, and we were going to go in to see if we could run through the park quickly. It was $150. I'm like, no, I'm not running. I'm not going to run through the park for an hour.
Well, no, you can't run through.
Late night sneak in.
I will say we went. It's been quite a while since we were down there, though. But it was the one part of Universal that was as immersive as the best when Disney is at its best. It really is. Other than the crowds being too big, it really is an immersive Harry Potter-like experience. I give them a lot of credit. And the castle looks incredible. The Hogwarts looks absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe next time, Scott, you and I have to go down there soon. Probably we'll have to go to Universal.
Sure, as long as I'm going the courtesy of It's a Lot LLC.
See, there you go.
Well, my name might still be on the list. I haven't tried that trick lately.
Hmm.
It's only been 30 years. Maybe it'll still work.
Well, I mean,
Did I
because
tell
you
that- I've told that
Spielberg
story,
did
right?
Get Off at the Trolley. Yeah, you did.
I told that story.
Good story. You can tell it again if you want. You're on a podcast.
No, not really
The
a
podcast
podcast.
half named after you.
But yeah. So that's my review.
That's a quick review.
I mean, I understand all the hubbub. I get it. And the books are a little different.
The books are definitely different.
The books are better, but the movies are good.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed with this movie, because I think I've only seen this once before, and it got some things so right in translation from the book and some things so wrong. They had to compress it, which they always do, until the final movie where they had
a pretty long movie.
Yeah.
And they did the right. I think they cut the right stuff, because in the book, the Quidditch World Cup is like 100 pages. It is a long section of the book.
Well, and it actually ends with a loss. Like he intentionally, like when you catch the snitch, like the game is over, no matter what the score is. And like Victor Crumb was like, "I'm tired of playing. I'm done. We're gonna end the game on my terms." And he caught it, losing the game for his team. Essentially, like he just didn't want to play anymore. He was over it.
It's the only time I ever was excited to read 20 pages about a sport without actually watching it.
I respect that.
Yeah.
A sport that makes no sense, but that's
no. It's that and Calvin Ball, like those two things together.
Calvin Ball makes much more sense.
Now, I mean, we have talked before about the borderline child abuse that happens in the Harry Potter world, but I feel like taking students and putting them at the bottom of the lake is crossing a boundary.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they
feel
were
like
fine.
the risk that you're putting kids at for Quidditch is one thing, but to say, we've stolen something from each member of the champions.
Do you think
It's their friends.
Do you think by this point in her career, Rowling had some unpleasant run-ins with the press? Because this is the book and the movie where the portrayal of the press really starts to go into how evil and lying and make things up they are.
Yeah.
Well, and I just read a thing the other day that was like and I don't remember reading this part in the book about like why they chose whoever, but it was like something important to them. And the post was about how actually sad it is. Like, okay, for Harry, it makes sense that it's, Ron, and for Cedric is Cho, and whatever for Fleur, it's her sister. But then for Victor Crumb, it's somebody he literally just met. Like, how sad is that?
You
that he
can't
doesn't
fall in
have
love
any
with
other
someone
important people in his life.
But he is also incredibly shallow. Crumb
Well,
comes
he's
across
a-
as
I mean, he's
having no real
famous.
character other than big, strong, good at Quidditch.
Well, they couldn't put his broom underwater because that would ruin the finish. So I guess they went with a person.
You can fall in love at first sight. Didn't you see Frozen?
But the thing I didn't like what they did with this movie was the visuals are really impressive, but they're not Harry Potter. I was halfway through and it finally hit me what was wrong with this movie visually, and I said, he's trying to make a steampunk movie because there's all this metal and all of these machines and gears and giant gramophones and weird cameras, and Harry Potter is not steampunk. Harry Potter is magic.
What was
And the
Spielberg
director just
thinking?
had this weird aesthetic he was trying to force onto the movie that didn't work.
Spielberg
They
really
did-
made a misstep here.
Even Dave with Mad Eye, he
Yeah.
was very steampunk looking.
Yeah,
He was,
and the book
but
is
that
just
was
an eye.
somewhat keeping with the book.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like when they revealed where the real Mad Eye was being kept at the end, this 5 nested mechanical trunk opened up. That was steampunk. That wasn't magic.
It was steamer trunk. It was steamer
Fun
trunk.
fact, though, out of all those things you just mentioned, that trunk was the only thing that was actually in the book. So
Yeah.
if anything had an excuse to actually be there, that
Yeah.
was it. But yeah, Mad Eye's eye, the freaking weird megaphones. Like I'm glad they actually kept the putting my wand to my throat
the
so you
throat,
could
yeah.
hear me
Yes.
thing. That was good, but
But
no,
even the scaffolding when they were watching the events were like these big, like distressed metal scaffoldings, not what you would see at Hogwarts. It really was weird.
there They're ancient scaffoldings. They're the first ones.
There you go. And it's also interesting because you had Chris Columbus direct the first 2 films, then you have 2 one-offs, and then the final director directed the last 4. So there's a very different feel for both 3 and 4 because they don't fit in with the other movies in a way.
Spielberg directed 4 of these?
Yeah, the 4th guy. Yeah, the final 4 were directed by what's his name, Yost or something like that.
All right, here we go. You ready?
No, apparently not.
Oh my god.
Nah.
I do want to see the Banshees of Inisherin though.
I see a difference.
He looks more like the cartoon penguin.
All right, I tried.
I'm sorry, Dan.
It was a nice try.
Yeah.
Is it clearer now or now? Now or now? A or B? The Dumbledore characterization, which started to go off the rails a little,
and I do agree about Dumbledore.
Well, this is that super extremely controversial scene where in the book he says, "Harry, did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire?" Dumbledore asks calmly, and then you get the movie version. Did you put your name in the Goblet of Fire? Like
that's the most mean Harry Potter movie ever.
Yes, it is. For that, yeah.
Okay, so I was wondering if you guys think it's a plot hole. I think it is. Like, why does he have to participate?
Because he's Harry Potter.
Because it's a contract.
Because there has to be a movie.
If someone puts your name, apparently the magic is if someone puts your name in the goblet and the goblet chooses you. Now, he could have possibly gotten out of it by resigning from Hogwarts or something, but I think he had to compete.
Well, I think to me, it makes if you're literally like he's underage, he's clearly this is a plot of some dark person trying to do something bad. Let's let him compete anyways.
Well, they never bothered trying to find out who put his name in.
Like, was it an unbreakable vow that if he didn't, play, he would die? Like,
he could have probably bowed out, but Harry didn't want to bow out.
They said people have actually died doing this tournament, so it's a valid point.
Yeah,
and the 14 age limit was new this year.
Just like take a knee or something, or why are they forcing him to do deathly?
They weren't forcing him. Did he ever express any attempt to not do it?
No, but I think what Brian is saying is somebody put his name in there on purpose, and it was an adult.
Right.
And I believe that
to make sure he could obviously to get the cup at the end, but like they want him to die. Even Ron said that. Like, I think somebody wants you to die.
Yeah.
Well, how about we ask the people who nominated all the best actresses for the Oscars this year, because they had a similar situation. They figured it out.
What?
There was some person who was like, "Oh, did she really get nominated? Like, we got to look into this. Like, this is weird." And that's kind of how
she campaigned. It was from a real independent movie, and she campaigned. I think they also campaigned, but she got nominated. Everybody's like, "Who the hell is this?"
Adam's comment, Adam, yes, there was. If you read the book, that's the whole, because it's not actually Mad Eye Moody, it's Barty Crouch. He's intentionally trying to get Harry to get to the end to get the cup, which is the port key to bring back Voldemort. Like, he's literally like he's the one who like bewitched Crumb. Like, he's the one who told Neville about the whatever Gillyweed. Like, he did that on purpose. Because he was a bad guy.
Well, then he's going to put his name in the cup too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
In the books, he did not get the Gillyweed clue from Neville. He got it from Dobby because they tried to get Neville to give him the clue, but Harry didn't want help and refused Neville's help. So Harry was trying to play by the rules in the book, and they sort of cut that little bit out in the movie.
Yeah.
He wakes up with like nothing, like, holy crap, I've wasted all this time, I'm gonna lose this. And Dobby's like, hey, I got this for you. Eat this. I know it looks kind of weird, it has worms on it, but here you go.
It also led to a little bit of a plot hole because Neville was sort of scared to death of Snape. I can't imagine him stealing from Snape's supplies to get some Gillyweed, whereas Dobby, I can picture it.
Yeah.
Well, to me, it didn't. The way the movie portrayed it was that he didn't steal it. It was that Moody, Barty Crouch sort of kind of helped make that happen.
Neville was like in the bookshelf. He's like, well, I know what you could do, but you could use Gillyweed. And then cut. Here's the thing.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, they never show how
about that in this movie. Well, and you do have to accept that, because we've established that polyjuice potion only transforms your physical form, right? It doesn't make you a masterful impersonator, right? So you do have to accept the fact that Barty Crouch Jr. is somehow a master impersonator to be able to fool everybody to believe that he is Mad Eye.
Well,
Moody.
he didn't fool the Hogwarts
into-
ceiling. If you notice that, like the Great Hall ceiling reacted to him coming in. It turned into a storm when he walked in.
Yeah.
The other possibility is that there was more magic than just polyjuice potion at work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Can we talk for a second about David Tennant's amazing performance whenever he was not? Yes. Hello, Father. I'm acting. I'm going to be the best Doctor Who ever.
He was.
He really did. Yeah, he was fantastic.
Well, David Tennant made Jessica Jones season 1.
Mm-hmm.
True.
In the right role, David Tennant.
I think, Adam, this was the biggest of the thickest, the longest of the books.
It is.
Also. So yeah, they definitely left a ton of stuff out.
And I also felt, I remember when I was reading the books, this is the first book I got to that I went, this is just too long. And I remember saying at the time, Rowling has reached the point where the publisher was just waiting for the pages to come in and throwing them at the printing press. She wasn't getting an editor anymore. She wasn't getting any pushback or any feedback. They were literally just publishing whatever she handed to them because they wanted to get it out there as quickly as possible. Right. And this book started to show the strain of that. For example, this book showed a trait that she sometimes has, which is introduce a totally new concept like port keys and then make it a key plot point at the end. If they'd introduced port keys in book 2, it would have worked much better, but she hadn't thought of it yet. So sometimes she gets that aspect in her writing that
like midichlorians is what you're saying is pretty much
midichlorians. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Right. Yeah, they had flute powder in the Chamber of Secrets.
Which seems like a much safer way to travel.
Yeah.
It's true.
So
the lyrics to that rock song, oh man. Oh, those were just putrid lyrics. If you listen to that, it was just awful.
I actually don't.
With your hands in the ogre, like a hand in the air, like an ogre that just don't care. I mean, it was just horrible.
I mean, the movie itself was already 2 hours and 37 minutes. So, Adam, were you ready for another hour of this movie?
I think he's wondering if there's something in the books that would have made it a better movie.
Is there any major missing plots?
Weren't the Dementors in that book
too? Coming back, there it is.
The Dementors at the end, I had not remembered this, but when I was reading the trivia, in the book at the end, after Barty Crouch Jr. is revealed and sentenced to Azkaban, the Dementor immediately comes and kisses him, basically making him, like wiping his brain.
Right.
Yeah.
So then the Ministry of Magic refused to believe that Voldemort was back. And that then led into the next book pretty significantly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a lot of clues that they left out, I think, too, about it being Barty Crouch Jr. Like, for instance, like the Marauders map. Like, Harry saw him on the Marauders map. There was things like that.
But it just said Barty Crouch, so he didn't realize it was Junior.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, clues like that they leave out. But do you need them? I don't know.
You have to compress some out. They actually talked about making this 2 movies, and I'm glad they didn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really?
For sure.
Oh my gosh.
The director.
I don't think it'd be good if it was 2.
The studio proposed it to the director, and I remember who he talked with. He talked to someone who convinced him, no, you don't want to make this 2 movies.
Right.
No. Maybe a TV show. 5
Speaking
episodes.
Of 2 movies, I have a quick programming note or question. Okay. So we're not going to do a movie for next week, but the following week is our double feature week. So should we pick the double feature this week? So we have 2 weeks to get the double feature in?
We
or
could.
Should we wait and do that next week when we do the Deep Space Nine episode? Just a thought.
We can think about it. Yeah,
I'm all for picking them this week.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we also had the comment when we were watching this that how much of a jerk Ron was in this movie.
But it was because he was jealous of everybody.
But I don't remember him being quite this much of a jerk in the book.
Yeah.
I don't think so either.
No.
I also think this is when the teenage actors they're in their awkward years.
Yeah.
I felt
yeah.
I felt that Radcliffe had reached the point where he was a solid actor in this. I felt that Watson wasn't quite there yet. I think she sort of gets there in the next film. But yeah, they're still sort of growing into that and definitely at an awkward age.
Well, yeah, they didn't grow facial hair. They just grew more hair.
The fact that Ron is a moody teenager, I don't think is unreasonable, right? The fact that he is having trouble dealing with his
there's a difference between moody and a total jerk. He can be moody without being a jerk.
You didn't know Dan in high school. I mean, come on. I saw how he dealt with his puberty. I mean,
yeah. Well, no. The thing is, at the end of the whole thing, spoiler, when the kids end up with who they're going to end up with, and I went, "What?" And looking back,
I know. Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's why Ron was acting like that in the fourth movie.
Maybe, yeah, they both were. Yeah.
Well, and Rowling even admits that she made a mistake with the matchups at the end. She sort of felt fan pressure to do it that way when she thinks she should have probably had Harry end up with Ginny.
She did.
She did.
With Hermione, sorry.
Hermione. Well, see, I like I know like other people don't like it, but like I like the Ginny thing because like Ginny like loved him like so much in the beginning, you know, and yeah,
saved her.
It should have been Harry and Luna.
Richard reminded me too.
There you go.
Come on.
Oh, if you guys ever.
Not a plot point that was like missing, but Richard reminded me the maze at the end, the hedge maze was only supposed to be as large as the Quidditch pitch.
Yeah.
Like just like a football field basically, and they made it this like world giant thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you can make a tent bigger on the inside, why not a hedge maze?
Exactly.
It looked like it was made of baleen. Just a whale's mouth.
I was going to say about Ginny, the thing. Okay, have you seen Family Matters before, right? And you got like Steve Urkel,
yeah,
and Laura. They end up together, you know. And I like that kind of. Like,
what?
I'm sorry.
I was just binging it.
It doesn't matter.
Next, you're going to tell me that MASH ends in a bad way.
Anyway, so they end up together, you know, and like I like that kind of story where it's like the nerd actually gets the girl kind of thing, and I feel that way about Ginny because she was kind of like the nerdy little kid, and Harry didn't like, I don't know, pay attention to her at all.
He hardly paid any attention to anybody. Hermione was his best friend. He and her, Ron, and I didn't. Looking back and watching these movies over again, you can see that from the very beginning. So that it was Harry or Ron and Hermione. So.
Yeah, and also it kind of makes the bond between Ron and Harry that much stronger.
Sure.
I think it made sense
small role in this
too
movie.
that like Harry kind of gets like he was already basically like adopted by the Weasley family. You know what I mean? Like he spent so much time with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it always seemed weird to me that Harry and Ginny ended up together because there's so much story we don't know. Because it was just so.
Spoiling this for poor Dan. Poor Dan is getting his life crushed here.
Oh, he is. He's getting all the spoilers right now.
He looks affected. I did say spoilers.
You're so cruel. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, these days, sure.
Yeah, Urkel will be like, "Did I do that?"
Urkel as Mad Eye Moody. That would be fun.
And Ron apparently is from the
song
Pacific
during the
Northwest.
closing credits. Oof, man, that was bad. If you sat through that, you shouldn't have.
What was it? Sorry.
There was a song called "Magic Works" that about halfway through the credits came on, and it was just awful. It totally.
I kind of almost. I ended the movie almost like before it like fades into sunset. You know, like they do it at the end of so many of them for Harry Potter. I'm just like, I don't need to see this part. So it's just like it's over now.
You didn't see the end cutscene? No, I'm kidding.
I mean, not only was Dumbledore sort of angry and really aggressive in this movie,
Mhm.
he's running, he's sprinting across the floor.
He was going through puberty.
It's just weird.
Him and Ron. It's all good.
Yeah.
Him, Ron, and Dan. It's all good. All right. Or is it time?
It's time.
Oh, yeah. I think it's time.
The EriDan rating bot 6000. EriDan rating 6000. EriDan now activated.
Why didn't I see
I did it
Howard the
right.
Duck?
Yay.
Oh, look at you.
Zoom in.
No, please don't.
I can't.
Ooh, yellow.
Enhance,
right.
enhance the pixels.
What am I going to rate this? I don't remember what I rated. What did I rate? Does anybody have like the thing?
I have the numbers for you there, Brian. All right. So number 1, you rated a 92. Number 2, you rated a 94 and a 96 for the
Oh,
third
this must
movie.
be a 98.
Adding 2 for every rating you've been given.
Wow, no, I'm going 80 something. Let's see. I don't think it's as good as the other ones. I really don't. But I like mermaids.
Wow.
Those mermaids?
Wow,
We're gonna
interesting.
watch Flash next.
I like
Mermaids are Brian's helicopters to Wade's helicopters.
like
Next
the
week we watch
Grindelwald,
Splash.
the Awesome
Those
World.
mermaids belong in a Del Toro movie.
We'll watch Splash or the Incredible Mr. Limpet next.
There you go.
Oh Lord.
Um.
When you watch Aquamarine.
Oh, I did not prepare. 80 something. 83. I'm gonna say 83.
There it is. 83 from Brian.
All right, let's go over to the writers. We got a bonus.
Oh, we got
writer.
an extra Reagan.
Go ahead.
So yeah, it's kind of like the middle movie where the first ones were all kind of new, and this one, I just don't think it held up as good as the other ones did. And then I know the ones to come are a little better, so I'm going to give it an 80.
Nice.
I like this one. I like them all. Some of them are a little harsh. This one was very terrifying in some places. The Harry ending up in the graveyard and through the court key and Voldemort coming back. That's pretty terrifying. I always liked the Christmas ball, but then it was one of those high school dances that was terrible.
It was Cinderella.
I know. Yeah, that's a little bit better. And Hermione, I have to say this. Hermione is wearing Marie Osmond's dress from her Barbie doll. Just saying. It is. It looks just like it. Anyway, that has nothing to do, no bearing on my score, but I always say it. Every time I see it, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Marie Osmond's dress. I think I'm going to give it an 87.
I agree that it's like out of all of them, it's probably one of the worst ones just because it seems like this weird transition movie. And I mean that more like they were trying to figure out who direction wise, like who they wanted to settle to make the movies, who like which direction they were going as well. And you could tell, I think. But for some reason, this was always my favorite growing up because the way that I watched them was my sister would have them on upstairs and I'd just show up and would watch some of them with her or we'd watch it here. And I liked the game. I always thought it was so fun, like the competition. Like that was always my favorite part of it. So it's one of my favorite ones, but I also like now that I'm older and I've seen them all and like I know more about them, like I don't think it's that great. So I think I don't know. I think it's more like I feel like it's like a 76.
76. Trombones in the big parade. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Nice. Is that your normal screen background?
Amanda says, I love a lot about this movie. The challenges and the ending were great, but too many of the characterizations felt off. And the weird steampunk and poorly done teen drama bring this one down. 88. And then Jake says, hey guys, he gives 100% to all the Harry Potters.
Wow.
He's a Harry Potter fan.
Seriously.
Well, so am I. But
well, speaking of Harry Potter fans,
I also think it matters. You know, very few adaptations I can think of does the movie hold a candle to the book. And this is one of them where the movies are still very good. And I feel that way about Lord of the Rings too. Very good movies, well made, worthy of the acclaim they get, but they can't hold a candle to the books. The books books has what the fundamentals of the story are. And the movies always have to either cut some or change some, or they take something that was left to your imagination in the books and makes it concrete on the screen in a way that doesn't fit what your imagination said it was. And but they do better than average with Harry Potter, so I can't complain. In this case, they did a better job, I think, with the screenplay than they did with the previous movie, because I felt in Prisoner of Azkaban, there were major plot holes that were there because they cut too much from the book and cut some of the wrong things from the book. I think in this case, they did a better job of cutting a big chunk of the book without making it feel like there were holes. So I give them credit for that. I just think it was a bad fit of director, and I don't want to harp on that anymore. I just didn't think it was the right director, though, for the franchise. I'm not going to hold it against. The casting was mostly good. I love Gleason. I love him in most anything he does, and I thought he was really good as Mad Eye. Tennant was weird, but okay, fun to watch. I'm not going to take any points away from this because I'm not the target audience for it, but I have to say I have never found what's his name? Robert Pattinson at all attractive. To have all these people swooning over Cedric was like, you could put Steve Buscemi in that role and I'd be just as convinced. I mean, it just doesn't work for me.
Oh my!
With those deep set eyes that make him look like a skull, it just doesn't work. Radcliffe is a far better looking guy than so that, again, I'm not taking points away from that because I know some of the women who have watched it feel completely differently from me, so I accept that that's what the target was for, and I give them but it just didn't work for me. The thing that didn't work the most for me was
Voldemort's brother.
Just the look. Oh, it was nice to see.
This looks like Cedric Diggory 3 months
Voldemort
after
actually
he
make an
died.
appearance because he is fun when he's on screen. He really is, and so seeing that was cool. But the weird disconnects in the movie from the mood with Dumbledore and the steampunk and all of that, those probably bring it down like close to 10 points in my book. So it ends up being an 83.
83. Scott.
All right. So this is probably the movie that is the most confused about what the heck it wants to be. Does it want to be light and fluffy like a lot of the previous movies? Does it want to get really dark and scary because there's a lot of dark and scary stuff coming up? They know because almost all the books are written by this point. When they make like 2005, 2006, they're just waiting for the last one, Deathly Hallows. I kind of agree that this is actually one of the longest Harry Potter books. You have a lot to work with. The last book, I think, was like 400-ish pages. This jumped to like 730-ish pages. You have more world building. You have more characters you need to introduce. You have more stuff you need to flesh out. Like, typically, when your story is that freaking long, it is generally easier to turn it into viable content. With that said, I think that the best thing that this movie has going for it is actually the special effects. Just taking us to all those different places and trying to make us feel like we're actually there. You can really feel like you're in 2004, 2005, end of Lord of the Rings style animation where everyone's like, okay, CGI is the future. Let's push this, see how far we can go. And it shows. And honestly, if you're looking for a great starting point demo reel for when they started transitioning less from practical effects to visual effects, it's a great movie to watch, and every visual effects student should probably watch it for that reason. I thought most of the performances were okay. I think the teens, are the teens. Okay, fine. You're teen actors. You got handpicked based on the fact you're in the last 3 movies. Congratulations. I think most of the new actors they add in are pretty darn good. I have a big problem with one thing, and it's something that was so beautiful about the third movie, and that was the cinematography. A lot of the stuff that I see in this is trying to make you trying to be realistic while also being somewhat cinematic, and as a result, you really feel like you're watching a movie rather than you're actually there because of how things are framed. And I have a problem with that, and it's actually a problem I have with almost every Harry Potter movie after that. There's like there's a few great action shots that are like, okay, we need this shot to sell the movie, and that's it. But for me, the most important thing is, of course, the story. And I honestly am the least invested in this movie because of the fact that it literally has nothing going for it, nothing that grabs my attention until Voldemort comes back. The whole purpose of this was to set up the fact that Voldemort is coming back at the end. It's the best scene in the whole movie, and you really feel the darkness and the terror. Before that, it's like, oh, we have to do the tournament, and you have to care about it because it was in a previous book. So you should like it for that. And you ever seen a teen comedy, guys, or a teen drama? Here's everyone blowing up steam and being a teenager. I know you guys freaking love that. It's just like, oh my gosh. No. They kind of get a handle on it with the next movie where it's much more political and much more of a commentary. But this one is just trying to be a very fun book, but also to balance out the really dark stuff that happens at the end. And I think the book did it better because it had other things like the entire house elf storyline with the politics and stuff. So for me, overall, great visual demo reel, great fun distraction to watch, but as serious as a story, probably not. I'm going to give it a 78.
78.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to end up being the highest score of the night.
She's not going to try this one based on our scores because if she ever does watch a Harry Potter
she
movie.
should just try the first one and see if it hooks her.
Watch the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I think we already talked about, a lot of the things we touched on. There was a couple other things that I had thought about too that they don't explain well or don't portray well. And one of the big ones that I know has always irritated, especially Richard and stuff, and me when we watch it, when you see Sirius come through the fireplace to talk to them, the way if you remember back to the second movie when they take that powder and they have to go in the fireplace and they say, Diagon Alley, and they throw it down and puff of green. That's essentially what Sirius does into the common room, only it's just his head. So it's supposed to be green and it's his actual head, not his face is shaped in the embers, super silly.
Weird continuity.
Yeah. So that just was, and then even in the next video or the next movie, I think they have him again, but it's fire. And then his face is CG, there's no, it's not accurate. It's goofy. And they don't explain very well at the end when Harry and Voldemort are in the cemetery and they're the spells meet and there's the explosion of the colored foam and stuff. All of the so Cedric, Harry's parents, and then that caretaker from the beginning of the movie, they don't explain it, which is crazy, but what's happening there is those are the last people that Voldemort killed, coming coming out of the wand when their spells kind of collide, which I think is really fascinating, and they don't explain any of that.
Yeah.
Didn't Dumbledore talk about that when he was hanging out with Harry prior and contained him?
Not really.
No, not really.
Sort of.
In the book, yeah.
But he doesn't explain it. He addresses it, but he isn't this is what this is.
He's you saw your parents, but he doesn't explain why.
Well,
and actually, they had to I don't know if you remember when the book first came out, they had to rush out a new edition because there was a mistake in the book that the fans noticed because the spells are in reverse order, and some of the people came out in the wrong order, which made these fans all of a sudden obsessed, going, "Oh, there's some plot," because we his father came out before his mother or something like that, and they were obsessing over this. And Rowling was like, "Oh no, it's just a mistake. We're gonna print a new edition."
Oh geez, I didn't know that.
Collectors,
oh my god.
And I think I'm with you. I was never necessarily big on Robert Pattinson. I know my thing says I will never not, and I put every year I will never not cry over Cedric's death, but it's not even his death that gets me, it's Amos's reaction.
Yeah.
Right?
That breaks me.
Oh, every time.
That's
when he
the
comes
part
out
that I don't cry when he dies in the cemetery.
That's
Yeah.
my
dying,
boy.
the
Oh,
dying is
and-
just over like that. It really doesn't get you, but yeah.
oh man,
Yeah.
it gets me.
Oh,
So,
every time.
not my favorite, not my least favorite. I'm gonna give it a 90.
Andy.
90. I think
90.
I think I'm up and then Eric.
How about that?
I'll be quick.
Okay.
Sorry.
Reclaiming my time. I gave Scott most of my time, so
You gave me your intro too, so
I'm giving 87.
Wow.
That was
that was
quick.
quick.
Oh, wait, my mom gives it an 86.
Oh wow, and your mom's here. Great. All right. There's an 86 from Susan. A lot of this has been said at this point because we've been doing this for 16 minutes. But I will. This movie, they had to get you from point A to point B, right? Which was to get Voldemort out, right? I mean, at the end of the day, everything else was nice. I wish they were setting stuff up. I wish we would see the kids from the other schools return later when it was time to fight Voldemort or something.
Right.
Some way that they were setting stuff up, that some of this other stuff actually mattered. None of it mattered. It just got Voldemort out and entertained you along the way, which is fine. And it does that. And it gets us through the tonnage change from the later, fluffier movies to when things get darker. And it does that fine. So obviously this doesn't derail the series, but it doesn't do anything to like make it like, oh, wait till you see number 4. So I ended up at an 80. So, and there we go. That would.
Well, they even dropped one of the things that did set up the next movie and book, which was the Ministry didn't believe that Voldemort was back, which is a major point in setting up the next book.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And Adam says tournament, meh. Teen romance stuff, super meh. Definite step back. Gets a 40.
Ooh.
It's a pretty good score, though.
For Adam?
That is true. That is true.
We did miss earlier. We had a couple comments from Cody. Cody popped in and said, "Hey, beautiful people." And then we talked about doesn't hold a candle to the book. He said, if you held a candle, it might burn.
Yeah. Keep your day job, Cody.
Yeah.
Bazinga.
So this definitely ends up being our lowest rated Harry Potter movie so far.
As it
The
should.
other 3 movies did much better. But this did beat out Benny and June by 0.01%.
And a street cat named Bob.
That's right. Exactly. Just by an inch.
You guys put Stardust at 78? Oh my God.
A lot of people.
It was very divisive.
That's true. That was a very divisive.
Would you?
Let me guess. Somebody gave it a 2.
Lower. I need to know. It was my movie.
Stardust.
Scott.
You don't remember Stardust?
That's your movie?
I
Yeah.
must have picked it.
I love that movie. The mere tease of Michelle Pfeiffer in that mirror is amazing and worth at least another 10 points to what
Susan
that score
Sarandon.
got.
How can you ever forget Susan Sarandon?
I mean,
Yes.
Claire Danes was probably in Henry Cavill, but still.
Oh, that's right.
I love Stardust. They didn't like it very much.
Yeah, Adam especially did not like Stardust.
Yeah.
I was going to say, did somebody give it 2 points? I'm like, yeah.
Adam gave it a 20.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double digits.
That didn't help. So there we go. There is our ranking. So are we doing double feature to give you 2 weeks to watch? I think we are. Okay. So most of you have had the opportunity to do a double feature since we've reset the wheel. We have a handful of people who have not, including Dan and I, in this round. So we're going to spin the wheel for double features, and we're going to find out who else is going to go on that wheel besides Dan and I. So I went on ahead and added Rebecca because she was in the comments, and Scott, because you're here, Scott. So the only catch is you need to be with us in 2 weeks. So when we actually talk about the movies, you have to be here. So I know Cody was in the comments. I don't know if he's still there. I don't know if Dan's mom is going to be here in 2 weeks. So we need to find out who can be here in 2 weeks.
Did my mom do a
That wheel
double
looks a
feature
heck of a lot more
in this
skewed.
round?
Is your mom done a double feature since we reset? Let me check.
Didn't she
I'm gonna
do
check
the
database.
the
You
Dustin
might be right
Hoffman double
about that.
feature?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds-
Yeah.
She's doing?
Did Reagan do one?
I thought Reagan did. Let me check. Hold on. I'm checking the list. I'm checking
Check
the
it
list.
twice.
One was
Very
just
confusing.
really-
No, let me see. No, Reagan has not done a double feature.
She
Since
wasn't
we-
here last week. I think that's why she was off the list.
Let me see. I'm just double checking. And no, Dan, your mother has not done a double feature.
I feel like
you
I
said-
thought Dustin Hoffman was like feels like a month ago, but I guess not.
No, Little Big Man and all that was a while
that
back.
was quite some time ago. That was
All
quite
right.
some time ago. So if your mom's still there, yell and
My mom
scream.
said she did a double feature.
You did?
She did a long time ago, I think.
Oh, wait. You're right. Wait,
When was Little Big Man?
Let me see. When was that?
Little Big Man and Rain Man. That was April of 2022.
Yeah, that was April. That was before we reset. No, she is
Oh, so
eligible.
you're eligible. Okay.
She is eligible.
That was April? Oh my
She's,
god. Time
she's
needs
declaring
to,
as an eligible double feature.
time needs to slow
She is
down.
double feature eligible. She is up for eligibility. So yeah, if she wants to be part of this. I spelled Reagan.
Who's Reagan?
Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan hasn't done one
go,
since
now, Reagan.
2021.
It's been a while. So yeah, I said we'll let and see. Britt, I want to make sure that Rebecca can be here in 2 weeks, if she's still there. And her last comment was 12 minutes ago, so we'll see if she's still there. Also, we're going to ask that you pick at least one of your at least one of your movies would be available on a streaming service. Let's not make people buy 2 movies. If they have to buy one of the movies, I think that's okay. Because the double feature I would like to do, neither one of them is available on streaming.
Eric will have to bring it to your house if he picks it.
Eric wants to do both Avatar movies.
I was thinking, no. I'm going to do the last 2 Ant-Man movies and make you go to the movies.
Joss Whedon's Justice League and Zack Snyder's Justice League.
We're going to
7-hour extravaganza.
Fantastic Four. And
All right, I think Rebecca's in. Reagan's in. Who did I miss? Oh, Dan's mom. Hold on. Almost forgot.
The last
Are
time
we
I
good?
had a double feature, I gave him away, if I'm not mistaken.
That wasn't even a double feature. That was just a random wheel. Yeah, I think you did at least give away one of your double features.
Yeah, I gave one to Adam and one to somebody.
All right, I think we're ready.
Just too generous.
Do it.
We're doing it.
Do it.
Let's do it. Let's
Do
do
it.
Who gets to spin? Who gets to choose 2 movies for the first
fear this
Monday in
wheel.
March?
I
The
fear
honor
this wheel.
goes to. Look out! Oh, you're all in trouble now.
Oh,
You're all in trouble now. And I'm going to need a moment.
thank God we've got 2 weeks.
Are you going to put up head, Eric?
Pick something.
What's that?
Do head.
No, I'm nicer than that. I have some
You're not
thoughts.
nicer than that. You put up Sergeant Pepper.
Yes, but I also paired it with yesterday at least.
Yes, you did. Yes,
I
you did.
did. I made a nice
You're
little.
gonna do the pirate movie and what else?
The pirate
Oh,
movie.
my.
That was
And the-
available anywhere.
Pirate movie and Blue Lagoon.
Which pirate movie?
Oh dear God!
All right. Well, I'm gonna do some research of what's available because I have some thoughts, but I haven't fully cemented
Eric's
them.
always the
And
one who says, "Everybody have something ready. You know you might get picked. Have something
Yeah,
ready."
I just
Eric
shift the
never
double
has anything
feature at the last minute here.
I have
So-
my double feature, but they're not available. So I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll let you guys talk about what else you're watching.
Now you need one that says "We'll be right back" while Eric figures this out.
That's right. Exactly.
Well,
Hey,
Or
be
you have
nice, or it'll be Harry Potter 5 and 6.
yeah. So
Oh my.
I was after watching Jaws last week. I was trying to remember good shark movies that I'd seen, and I wrote down a couple. And then there's one called The Shallows. I think it's got Blake Lively. That one was really good. There's a couple other ones, but then I hopped on Netflix, and at the very top, because the internet listens to me, it's 47 meters down, uncaged. And I had seen the first one and it wasn't great, but like it was all right. So I was like, I'll watch the second one. It was so bad. So bad. It was like the biggest waste of an hour and a half. It was Reagan, have you seen that one? Like
No, I'm terrified of shark movies actually, so Jaws is the only one I've ever seen.
But you guys have to see Jaws 3D.
Like, I'm scared of them too, but like it's like weird. Like I'm terrified of them and I like watch them like this, but like I enjoy them. But
I think if it wasn't in water a lot, I would.
The sharks were so fake. Like it wasn't even it was so bad. And they were blind. They were blind sharks because they were in a cave. They had been trapped in a cave for a long time, so they'd adapted to and they were blind. And it was just like the CGI was horrendous.
Also, it's like The Father in A Knight's Tale. You just randomly make them blind to
No, it was worse than that. I like a Knight's Tale.
Have you seen Jaws 3D?
I gave that movie 100.
We discussed Jaws 3D.
Yeah, I just sent you like a link to like the worst special effect I've ever seen. It's from Jaws 3D. It takes place in an aquarium.
Adam, I am with you. We have stayed up way too late every night playing Hogwarts Legacy, and
I stayed up later than everyone. Just saying.
I
beat it.
You beat it.
I did.
I've been up till 4 to 5 in the morning a couple nights in a row.
Okay, you win.
That's what Richard's doing behind me. He's playing right now.
Mm-hmm. It's very fun.
Just because it was Valentine's week, I did watch 2 rom-coms.
Uh-oh.
One of which I will recommend and one of which I will not recommend. We did watch the new Reese Witherspoon, Ashton Kutcher. I went Your Place or Mine.
Oh wow!
Which wasn't terrible, but there was no chemistry between those two whatsoever. It was just, it was sort of rom-com by the numbers. It was not great. Reese Witherspoon's always good, but it just wasn't a good movie. The other one, which I had seen someone plugging on some of the talk shows, was I Want You Back, which came out last year with Jenny Slate and Charlie Day. It's actually pretty good. It's streaming on Amazon. If you're in the mood for that kind of movie, I can recommend it.
Richard and I were watching The Number 23 when we had to take Mina to the ER, so we had to pause it.
You had flashcards or something? You're just watching The Number 23.
Yeah, I know. It was really interesting because it was like a more serious role for Jim Carrey. Like there was still like some like comic stuff, but it was like he was like, "Oh, like let's watch this," and I was like, "Is that Jim Carrey? Like this? No." What is he doing? But it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't good either. But
yeah, it's one of those performances where you're like, okay, he's trying something new, but all I see is Jim Carrey.
Yeah, you can't get past the fact that it's Jim Carrey.
Oh, great
At
news!
Least Robin Williams can be serious.
One of the movies I have wanted to put out forever, and I have multiple times been going to put it out on EriDan, but it was never streaming anywhere, so I always held back. Was Will Ferrell in Stranger Than Fiction? It's now streaming multiple places.
All
right, 15 points from Adam.
I know, but it's
I
not your
enjoyed that
typical
one.
Will Ferrell movie.
I'm gonna since you mentioned that, I'm gonna check to see if either one of my movies is, but I don't think it will be.
Reagan has us watching Bluey.
Oh, really?
I love Bluey.
Bluey is amazing.
Listen, season 1, episode 40. You probably won't cry.
Episode 40?
Yeah,
Which one
episode
was it?
40.
I just finished season 1 at work today.
The early baby episode.
Oh my god, yeah. That was so funny. They're just screaming at him and he's like, I don't understand what's happening.
Is this a kid's show?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on right now.
100%.
We're on. If you can see
I can see it.
It got a Loogie Award. Ugh.
So good. It's so good. Like I liked it. My best friend, she watches it sometimes at night because like she has her little cousin. They would babysit her, and so she recently got married. So now she like plays it at night whenever because her husband works like overnight sometimes. So she just puts it on at night. So I went to her house last week and we were watching it like she showed me like one episode and I thought it was funny. It was like this Granny's episode and me and my sister used to
I slipped on my beans.
Yeah, it's so funny. So like I
Rita.
It's so funny. So
Nice
I came home and I showed my
Rita.
mom, and now I've just been watching all of it, and it's like it's
It's
this
so
Australian
good.
like 7-minute show, and it's
8-minute episodes. It's like the most wholesome kid show,
and
and
it's got
so
the
good for
best
teaching you how to
music.
be a parent.
Oh,
It's funny. The grannies, it was Reagan and Emma, except the dogs have more imagination than my girls did because they actually play.
yeah.
My girls just went, old lady, old lady, old lady. It's hilarious. And then when they threw the rubber toy onto the ceiling,
The lizard, yeah.
they were banned in my house.
Yeah, still are.
Yeah.
They're so good. And like there's one called Hospital, like because their dad plays games with them sometimes, and he's like, what's a game that I can lay down? And so they play Hospital, and it's like I literally was explaining this to one of my friends who's like 28 or something, 27 at Applebee's the other day, and I was crying. I was laughing so hard explaining this 8-minute show, and then the waitress came up and she started talking about it too, and my friend was just like, what is this? Like it was just the best
like everybody
thing.
here.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's so good. Oh, Reagan, we can talk about it if nobody else will. It's so good.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pronounced Logie, not Loogie, not like a. I digress.
Is that a good award?
It's Australia's biggest TV award, so it
Wow.
sounds more Canadian than Australian. But
Yeah, naming your biggest TV award a loogie would be a little strange.
yeah, just a little bit.
You win a loogie.
And our next loogie goes to.
Well, who they hit? Oh, Kevin Spacey, come on up here.
Oh,
It's one magic loogie.
Yeah, I'm actually
watched-
working on Bluey tattoo for because the early baby episode is about an early baby, and Mina was an early baby.
Yeah.
The episode, I cried so hard. Like there was like 2 minutes of it, and like she's like, I had like moms aren't allowed to stay the night when there's an early baby, so you have to tell me to leave, and I'm gonna pretend that I don't want to leave. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, sweetheart, you have to go home. And she's like, but I don't want to leave Polly. She's like, you have to be the bravest you've ever been. And I'm sobbing because like I've been there. Like I was like, how does an 8-minute kid show like wreck me?
Well,
Right?
right? Isn't that
I'm
awesome
sorry.
though? Like it's so cool because like the girl that wants to play early baby, like I think it happened to her sister or her cousin.
Yeah, her
or
sister was
something.
an early baby.
Yeah, and so she's like processing it that way, and it's so
Right.
cool to see. Like, there's so many episodes that are like that where this kid's like, I want to do this thing because this is happening in my life, and like they play that, and it's just so interesting.
And the one
Like-
where the budgie dies. Ugh.
Yeah,
I don't know if you said this, Brittany, but when I had kids, whatever threshold I used to have for what made me cry lowered massively.
Well, even this year when we watched Goblet of Fire at Christmas, like I always cry when Cedric's dad responds, but then like this year I was like, I have a kid. Like, what would my reaction be if my and like it made it 10 times worse?
It hits you 10 times harder. It really does. Yeah.
Ugh, so good. I love Bluey.
it's so
Well,
good.
I will share something that I watched that I don't recommend.
Okay, good.
We're not watching it, are we?
Yeah, and
Dan's wedding
maybe other
video.
people would enjoy this. It's a new movie from 2022 called White Noise. It's on Netflix. That's about a train derailment that happens in Ohio and releases a toxic fume of gas.
Shut up.
No,
Yeah.
Wait
on
a
a
second.
webcam.
My
And
No,
it was
it
filmed
really.
And it
I
was
saw a
filmed
thing
there.
that was like it's
It was
trying
filmed very
to,
close
like,
to where the derailment
gloss it
happened.
over.
Yes,
yeah.
it was.
So my sociology teacher back in 2021, she left for a whole week because she was like a diver, like she does like diving, like scuba diving or whatever, and she was like on that movie, like she was like a rescue diver or something in that movie. I don't think she was in it. I think she was like part of the team that was there for safety, but she was like, "Yeah, I worked with Adam Driver last week," and we were like, "Girl, what are you talking about?" Like,
Nice.
So it was filmed near here?
Edinburgh.
Yeah. They were saying some of the article I was reading on CNN, there was a family that had to evacuate that were extras in the movie. You know,
Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
but
a little too close
it's
to home.
not all about that. The second act is about that.
Yeah.
The rest of the movie is very much trying to deliver a different message that we didn't. It's
Or
a
you
very
don't like smelling
moody.
fumes, perhaps
It's a little bit moody.
I did watch
a little bit moody.
I did watch the first 2 episodes, or one double-length episode, depending how you look at it, of Deep Space Nine, just to get started.
Yeah, the pilot is an hour and a half, 2 episodes that are an hour and a half each.
No.
That's what I thought.
Hour and a half.
Okay.
But it's playing Harry Potter in the background.
And like Brian said in his comment, it's not his favorite episode, but you might need to watch it just to sort of get the premise.
Right. Yeah.
And I kind of agree with that. It is far from the best episode.
It's definitely not.
It's slow.
Yeah, that might be the only thing I get done. We'll see.
Yeah, we got to move on into further somewhere else into this series, because I'm like,
it gets a lot better.
Yeah. We used to watch it all the time. I don't remember much of it though.
And I always liked Dodo.
That's right.
Yeah, kind of similar to mine.
You know what? Tonight on the news, I was watching NBC National News, and Dr. Mack, who taught health class, she and her husband were interviewed over in Palestine. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm like, I know her. So just to go back to the train wreck.
Yep.
Speaking of train wreck, you want to talk about next week's movies?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
You're setting us up, Eric.
No, Piercer.
See, now there is part of me that would like to be a jerk, but I'm not gonna be, because it could be like 2 musicals. It could be Hamilton and like Encanto, which I'm tempted to do, but I'm not gonna do that because I know we have some people who would not be cool with either one of those. So instead, we're going super classics. In 2 weeks, it's going to be Star Wars. And it's going to be Indiana Jones and Raiders.
Oh my God.
Wow. Yeah, more walking around.
So we're going to have some Harrison Ford talk in 2 weeks. Indiana Jones is streaming on Prime Video on Amazon, and Star Wars is streaming on Disney Plus.
I do have the DVDs, so I can get the original edits before, so Han does shoot first in the version I will be watching.
So you want to where Darth Vader really sounds like an asthmatic.
Yep.
Really hardcore.
Where they're pulling the tentacles around them,
I have a version they refer to as the despecialized versions of the original A New Hope. So there you go, 1977, 1980. What?
I'm gonna have to represent. That's my school guy.
1981. Harrison Ford. My first vehicle came from Harrison Ford.
Wow, yeah, that's right. You had that little Escort. You called it Meg Escort.
I bought it right down there at Harrison Ford.
Mine came from Chevy Chase.
I don't even know what mine. I can't even think of one.
Brian is incredibly relieved that you did not pick Encanto.
Oh, you don't even know.
It's on my someday list. Honestly, I'll tell you what my other 2 choices have been, and that I'm sort of holding back in the hopper is there are 2 movies about high school reunions that I want to do, but neither one is available.
Romy and Michelle?
It would be Grosse Pointe Black and Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
Oh, those are good ones.
I think both would be a super fun double feature about high school reunions, but neither one are available for streaming, only for purchase. So until someday,
the rights keep cycling between these companies, so it'll stream somewhere sometime.
Exactly. So instead, we're stuck with Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
I don't think we're stuck with anything. I think those are going to do very well.
That's the definition of unstuck. I would gladly be sucked in by this gravity field.
Yeah, I'm digging it.
I went to go. My parents took me. My mother took me to see Star Wars down at the little theater in downtown Beaver Falls, and they weren't playing Star Wars. They were playing Heaven Can't Wait. Or Heaven Can Wait. And I ended up seeing that instead.
Oh.
And then another time she went to take me to see E.T., and they were playing Star Wars, and I convinced her to go see Star Wars for like the 8th time instead of E.T.
It's a much better movie than E.T.
And because of that, I didn't see E.T. until like 2 years ago.
Was that the Granada Theater?
Huh?
Is that called the Granada Theater? Is that what that was called?
No, the Granada was the old theater across the street that became a mini mall.
What was
Granada
the downtown?
It was on the other side of the street. It was on the same side as Murphy's.
Was it called the Plaza? It had a name.
Yeah,
There's one in the plaza that got closed. It closed in 2015 because we saw Fault in Our Stars.
Downtown.
There's one
downtown.
The only movie I remember for sure seeing there was The Three Musketeers with Michael York.
I saw Grease there.
Do you know what Granada is French for?
Really bad Chrysler car.
No, pomegranate, and that's where you get the word garnade from, because the first grenades look like pomegranates. So you went to Garnade Theater.
My mom will remember the name of the theater downtown Beaver Falls.
Too many seats.
There was a Granada Theater. Oh, this is Granada Theater in downtown Beaver Falls.
It was before our time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dark times.
It opened.
Yeah, Granada, and then they turned it into what they called the Granada Mini Mall, which was just an bunch of indoor shops.
It was terrible.
It was terrible.
1931 that opened and was demolished in 2010 as a medical.
Right, but it closed in 1960 as a theater.
Yeah.
So it was before our time.
This is what's going to happen to all those old theaters. They're just going to become
well, until you put a penny in your pocket and you think really hard, then you can go back and see movies.
Don't put the wrong penny in your pocket.
Well, you gotta have
What's a penny?
Put a really old penny in your pocket. That's good.
Hold on, I'm looking this up.
Dan, I believe you're talking about the old Regent Theater.
Yes.
Yes, that's the one.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. You are correct, sir.
I'm looking at. Wait, I got Pulaski Township, and all of a sudden it shows a picture. It looks like Blackhawk High School. Does Pulaski High School or wherever high school there look like? Look at this.
Beaver Valley Furniture. Yeah,
there it is. The cinema.
Yeah,
Liberty Loans.
That would
the
be
most generic name in the world.
Oh, the police station.
That's where I saw it. Wait.
Ice.
And there you go. The
movie
Regent
theaters with the Granada, the Regent
Theater,
and the State, according to my mother.
I never went to
Adam's
any of
loving
them.
this. Adam is just reveling in this.
He is.
He loves when we talk Beaver Falls talk.
What's this?
Oh my God.
That's New Brighton.
Is that New Brighton?
Yeah, I think that's New Brighton High School.
They have a round.
What is that? It's a badly designed web page, is what that is.
It looks like they took Blackhawk High School and the middle school and New Brighton and mixed them all
It looks
together.
like a bad artist rendering of a school.
That's New Brighton High School.
All right.
Dude, it looks
A
like
demo for your 3D program.
It looks like the school in Columbus.
Oh, this is cinema example. Oh, this is an example website.
Oh, that's not anything then.
No, that looks like it's in Columbus, Indiana, like in that movie. That looks like her school.
Yeah, I
So
remember
you guys
seeing,
live in a
I remember
place
seeing
called
Star Wars up
Beaver
at the Beer
Falls?
Valley Mall, then we went in and got Hot Sam pretzels afterward.
Hot Sam. Hot Sam.
Yeah.
It feels like kind of a crime we're not going to watch an Oscar-nominated movie before the Oscars.
We've watched a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of the ones.
Yeah, older ones. We've watched a lot of them because I did a display at work, and most of the movies that I pulled for it were movies that we've seen.
My next movie that comes up is an Oscar winner, but I just haven't come up on the wheel in a while.
I was talking about the new ones. Like, have you guys seen anything yet before that happens?
We don't usually do that.
Ray Pepper made a good comment way back. Hold on, let me find his comment. Here we go. If everything,
here it is.
Everywhere, all at once wins Best Picture, then I knew nothing about movies. Hated it. Same with The Shape of Water. Hated it, and it won. Well, then maybe you know nothing about movies.
I loved Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I liked it. I liked The Shape of Water. I didn't think either one was a classic, but I liked both movies.
Yeah.
Is that the same picture, Stacey?
It's close. This is from KDK. They must have been on the news for something. So,
Do they have a round part?
Probably. I don't have the whole thing. That's best I can find.
I thought Shape of Water was a pretty movie, and I like how the cinematography made it feel like you were underwater.
Well, Del Toro always has good-looking movies.
Yeah.
Look at Adam talking like he writes for Variety magazine.
I mean, look at that beard. Of course he does.
Best Picture noms.
Noms.
Here's the noms.
Nom.
Speaking of noms, I have not had dinner yet.
Ah.
I'm out. I'm hungry.
I think we should all get going.
All right.
Friends.
See ya. Substance. See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Whoa. Hello. Sorry.
Are we all going?
I don't know. Are we ending the show?
Okay. Well, I'm going to share one thing for you. I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh no, it's a TikTok moment.
It's not a TikTok. Well, it is available on TikTok, but nonetheless, a little Harry Potter to Star Wars. If you guys haven't seen this,
liking Harry Potter is not nerdy. Okay, It's honestly actually kind of weird at this point, really. I feel strange. I feel like I'm the only person in my age group that isn't still obsessed with Harry Potter. There's 30-year-olds everywhere who are like, I'm a Ravenclaw. No,
Hey.
you're an adult, Sarah.
Hold on, wait for it. Here we go.
You're 31 years old. Your letter's not coming, all right? You gotta let it go, Sarah. I get that we loved the books when we were kids, but a book that you read when you were 12 can't still be your favorite book today, okay? It can't. Like, if you asked me what my favorite book was and I told you The Hatchet, you'd think I was an idiot. And you would be right. This dude hasn't read a book since 5th grade. No, I haven't. I have not. But Gary Paulson speaks to me.
Gary Paulson's good.
Oh, yes. He's so good. He's so good.
Well, he's talking to you.
Winter? Oh.
Wait,
I might like it more than The Hatchet, actually.
Wait.
But also, I never even thought it was that good of a book to begin with. I can't, like, people treat it like it's a masterpiece, and I'm just sorry, it's not. J.K. Rowling did not write a masterpiece. She wrote Star Wars with sucky lightsabers. She did. It is a direct ripoff of Star Wars. I am positive of it. Have you ever looked at them side by side? Oh, what do we have here? It's a young male orphaned protagonist who, for his own safety, has been sent to live with his aunt and uncle until a mysterious bearded stranger, who's actually the one to deliver him to his aunt and uncle when he was a baby, comes into his life and starts to teach him about this ancient kind of magic. Granted, he's going to learn a lot more about this magic from an older, wiser wizard who's high most of the time. Regardless, his uncle is totally against this magic stuff. He won't even tell him what really happened to his parents. But against his uncle's wishes, he leaves home for the very first time, makes some new friends, meets a pretty, impetuous young girl. And though there will be an odd sexual tension between the two of them throughout, he will only ever love her like a sister while she struggles with the feelings that she has for his best friend, the scruffy comic relief. And then he learns of the existence of this supervillain who killed his parents with his sorcerer's ways before he started calling himself Lord something or the other. But quite fortunately, it turns out that our hero is naturally good at flying and locating incredibly small targets. 2 centimeters? That's not impossible. I used to bullseye snitches on my firebolt back home. They're not much bigger than 2 centimeters. Don't touch the goblet, Cedric. It's a trap.
There we go. Not a TikTok.
And surprisingly, this week I was the one that shared a TikTok.
That is true. That's true. You should share a TikTok.
Scott's in it.
Oh, hey, look at that ass.
There it is. Yeah, those guys. Whoa.
Doesn't look
Jesse's car.
It's a beautiful
car. I like how they're looking at me and not him, and they're like, "It's all about Rick Springfield."
You offended?
He's gained some weight, and oh god.
Yeah, one of the comments was, "Which one's Rick Springfield?" So they said the one with all the hair.
Just today, I was listening to Conan O'Brien's podcast, and he's interviewing an actor who was talking about years ago. He was on Mad TV, and they were doing a Harry Potter spoof, and they had some British kid on as an actor playing Harry Potter. And between takes, the kid's mother goes, "Yeah, he was the next to last choice after Daniel Radcliffe for Harry Potter." Right in front of the kid. And he's sitting there going, this has got to have haunted the kid for the rest of his life.
Wow.
Daniel Radcliffe's doing 8 pictures for millions and millions of dollars, and he's doing a bit on Mad TV.
He's the backup Harry Potter.
What could have been? Christ.
I'm still kind of processing the guy. Like, I like the whole Star Wars thing, but why can't I like stuff that's kid stuff when I'm in my 30s?
Right.
You like it.
Well, it's not a matter of not. It's that's still your favorite book, is what he said. And that I kind of a couple years ago, Jimmy Kimmel went out on the street and was asking people, name a book. Just name a book. Can you name a book? And it's amazing how many people could not name a book.
Yeah, my favorite book is Goodnight Moon.
Nice. That's a good
My
one.
favorite book is Amelia Bedelia Makes a Pie.
Pat the
Amelia
bunny
Bedelia
leaves
is
Goodnight
awesome.
Moon in the dust. Come on.
Amelia
All right.
Bedelia is awesome. I like that
Yeah,
one.
but like if that you said that was your favorite book, and you look like you, like okay, you.
That's my favorite book. And if you come into my van, kids, I've got a whole library of them.
Ooh.
Okay,
Gotta get your lollipops.
oh my God.
Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. We should do that one
Wow.
sometime. Oh, 3.
What about The Giving Tree? Can that be your favorite book?
Shel Silverstein. Well,
This
they're
isn't
apparently
too scary. This isn't scary.
They're apparently
I'm gonna go
writing
take a
stuff
boom
out
boom.
of Roald Dahl's books because they're so controversial.
I saw that. Yeah, they're like changing the language. Like,
Yeah.
he's not. He's
Interesting.
only enormous. He's not fat anymore. He's just enormous. They're trying
Yeah,
to be
I know.
positive. Like, no, he's unhealthy. That's the point. Sorry, I gotta bang my desk at least once during these things, guys.
Yes. They're now going to have Enormous Albert and the Cosby kids. Well, I can't say Cosby either. Enormous Albert and that comedian.
Hey, it's
And a bunch of
Albert.
It's Big Albert.
Oh my.
My
Round
goodness.
Albert.
Oh,
Gosh.
for heaven's sake.
All right. Well,
All right. Now
that's the 20 after lull.
So Raiders of the Lost Ark, Star
Yep.
Wars. That's 2 weeks from now. 2 weeks.
Watching them in that order.
To watch those multiple times.
And then Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Watch as many episodes as you can.
I'm a little worried though. We're gonna spend like a whole like episode on it, and then like people aren't gonna watch
Well, it's
it.
an experiment. If it turns out to not work and we don't have enough to talk about, we'll move on to what else have you been watching or something. You know, it'll be fine.
All right.
Yeah, keep a log of everything else you watch, so we have something to talk about.
We'll talk about Beaver
All right.
Falls some more.
Oh yeah,
And
Adam.
East Palestine.
And I'll warn you up front, I'm planning on branching out into other Star Trek shows because they all tie together.
Whoa.
Yes, let's watch the pinnacle of television that is Star Trek Picard.
Yeah, the
Hey,
new
it's
Picard.
better than Voyager.
I imagine it would be. I hate Voyager.
Them fighting
So-
words. I have no idea. I've
You
never
mean
watched.
V'ger?
No, not Voyager.
Not V'ger.
No, that's the original series.
That's the slow motion picture.
I thought
I am
V'ger
Nomad, I
V'ger was
am
from the
perfect.
movie.
Yep.
Was that in the original series too?
What's that?
Huh?
I thought V'ger was. Oh yeah, Richard Belzer.
V'ger, no, V'ger was just Voyager. It was
Right.
just- yeah.
Oh, V'ger. Yeah.
I'm so confused.
Well, that's right, because
Star
Voyager,
Trek movie.
they basically recycled a script from the original series to make Star Trek the motion picture.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's right.
Only a lot longer and prettier and more boring.
Star Trek poster.
But Wrath of Khan resurrected it.
Nice.
Ricardo Montalban to the rescue.
Ooh. Fine Corinthian leather.
Here, I'm going to see if I can find what date that show was. The Richard Belzer thing I did, a graffiti. I think it was 1993.
Yeah, then you
Go to that.
I have no memory.
Yeah.
Eric, did you go?
I don't remember anything.
What, was Richard Belzer a Klingon? What are we looking for?
No, there was when I opened for him at Graffiti in Pittsburgh.
There it is. This name drop is sponsored in part by. Well, I'm taking that one back. This name drop is sponsored in part by Celebrity Crotch Scented Candles. Get one for your room for a night that goes boom. Now available in Kevin James scent.
Were you doing one that was inappropriate first, Eric?
I was doing
Worst
that.
thing to be judged scared by ever.
What was the first one, Eric?
It was this one. It's very inappropriate. This name drop is sponsored in part by Death. It's closer than you think. Death is not available in all areas. Please consult your doctor to find out if death is right for you.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric.
You had to ask. You didn't trust my gut that it was wrong. You had to know. You just had to know.
You are
Yes, we
amazing.
just had to know. It's like in Dirty Harry when it's like, did you fire one shot? It's 5 shots or 6. I got to know. I got to
now you know. Now
Well,
you
the problem
certainly
was-
know.
We showed the TikTok and you didn't play this.
This reference to Rick Springfield was brought to you in part by the all-new 2022 EriDan for style that can't be changed. Now on clearance.
We need to get a 20. Yeah, you're right. The 23s are now in the showroom.
They're priced.
have one about the TV.
I thought they were all recalled.
Window cling like that.
It was just the airbag recall.
Yeah.
Couple
Eric,
of
you need
airbags.
to market those window clings
The airbags are giant bananas, which just
of
didn't
your
work.
face.
Airbag.
Airbag, yes.
That was so bad.
Now with
Eric's
side
mom.
airbags.
You don't want those when they explode. It's got Dan and mine's head on the front.
No, but I want the prom picture for my back window.
I think we could sell those sunshades. 100%.
Richard Belzer is one of those comics, and I felt this way about David Brenner too, that I like them, and I thought they were actually decent actors. Their comedy didn't work for me. I don't know why. When I'd see him in stand-up, I'd go, eh.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Richard Belzer's act was very, he just worked the crowd.
Yeah.
I think I told the story on Facebook. If you didn't read it, very quickly, he had a book out called How to Be a Stand-Up Comic. I'm amazed how many other comics now have posted that was like how they got their start. And Eric, you probably remember you might have the book. I forget what I did with it. It was like a purple book, and it had the list of every comedy club in the country in the back.
I remember that.
And we reached out to a couple of. We went and did It's Comedy up in Parma, outside of Cleveland. We did Hilarities. It was all from that book. That's how we knew where to go.
I have no such book.
All right. So
My books are very organized.
I get hired to open for him. I'm thinking this is my big break. I'm going to make a fortune, which to me would be $100. And it was 1993. The guy at the end of the show pulls out $24 out of his. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I got to pay you." He goes, "All right, here you go." He hands me $24. That's all that was in his pocket. And then Richard Belzer walks in. He's like, "Don't talk to Mr. Belzer." And I'm like, "Oh, hi." And he's like, "Yeah, I'll talk to you, kid." And I just mentioned the book, and I asked for some advice, and he gave me a tip about set lists. And then
Start your sitcom with a dream.
12 years later, I see him at the Montreal Comedy Festival, and I say, "Hey, you probably don't remember me, but I opened for you in Pittsburgh, and you gave me some good advice." He goes, "Oh, it must have worked. You're here, or you're still here." And then when I saw he died, I went on Amazon to see if I could find the book, and I found a signed hard copy for $24.
Wow. Funny.
Ooh.
And yet you did not buy it.
No, I bought it.
Signed by Daniel Radcliffe.
I don't know who it's signed by. It just says signed.
Signed by the kid who was second to last to getting Harry Potter.
Second to last really sounds horrible. He was second to first.
Yes.
I don't remember exactly how he phrased it, but yes, he was the runner-up. How's that?
Yeah.
That'd be a great name for a show.
Who was he?
His name was Larry Cotter.
Welcome back.
They said they couldn't typecast, so I auditioned and changed my name.
Those kids are in their 30s.
Well, that was like, do you remember the great Phil Hartman sketch on Saturday Night Live where he
All of
played
them
the
were great.
actor who had replaced Yul Brynner in The King and I?
Oh shit! I did see that.
And he's really bitter because nobody gives, and he says, "You know, I'm sick of this, so I'm quitting this show. I'm going on to a new show. It's called Zorba."
Hey, my wife's watching. Hey, Beck. Yes, I
Aw.
trumpeted.
She likes rabbits.
That's awesome.
Is that a trumpet?
Scott,
Or you just
Scott,
happy to-
can you not spoilery give what score would you give Quantum Mania 1 to 100?
Me?
Yeah, you said you saw Quantum Mania.
I would say probably a 56.
Wow. Okay, I'm a little higher than that, but not
Yeah.
incredibly high.
What did you give Eternals?
I give Eternals. I skipped that one. I was like, you know what?
Oh,
do I
smart
really
man.
want? So that's technically a 0, isn't it?
What do you?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you give Infinity Wars?
Infinity War?
Infinity War.
It's 84.
All right.
It's a solid movie. And, you know, you could tell that they said, okay, we're making one movie. No, we're gonna split it. No, we aren't. Yes, we are. And it feels like that. It's a really well acted movie. It's a great blending of everybody. The effects are amazing. Holy shit, Thanos looks great. But at some point, you need to realize that Thanos really needed to have a temp that actually had some ideas for him about how you should come about controlling the world. I mean, by that point, we were getting ready in the comics for Thanos with Thor's hammer. He literally put all the Infinity Stones on Thor's hammer. And he had this additional stone called the Death Stone, the Black Stone, or something, and like raise everybody up like the freaking White Walkers.
All I need now is the kidney stone and the gallstone, and I've got everything.
And then I got to buy the ball stone. Yes.
I feel like Quantumania was still a good time. I don't think it's a good movie, but I think it's a good time.
Well, and that's probably what most people will say about it.
Yeah,
it's done well at the box office.
Yes, but the Rotten Tomato rating's currently at 45.
Woo.
If you care what the critics think, if you care.
Yeah, I'll probably never go below 50 for a movie unless I know it was intentionally just garbage. But
you need to watch.
Did you see the?
You need to watch
the most recent Fantastic Four movie.
The new Fantastic Four movie.
The most recent Fantastic Four movie.
Oh, I mean Fan Four Stick.
Oh, because that's below a 50. I'm sorry.
That is definitely below a 50.
I feel like we need to get him to watch Sergeant Pepper and see where
and Somewhere in Time.
If you want to lay the crappy movie gauntlet, I'm ready. I'm gonna make you guys.
Those are not movies that are necessarily crappy. Those were exceptionally divisive movies where you have some people
we've
that are
watched
their
here.
absolute favorites, and other people can't stand them.
Yeah, one of my all-time.
Okay, so I've seen Magical Mystery Tour when I was 11, and I was like, Dad, what the heck is this movie?
Well, that's different. That's actually the Beatles.
Yeah, this is not the Beatles.
This is Peter Frampton and the Bee Gees.
It's so good. I love it so
much.
much.
Oh no!
And George Burns.
And
they
George
talk
Burns.
like how they sing.
Oh, it's in the movie. It's all singing. The movie is all singing. There is no acting in the movie. It's all singing.
Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Earth, Wind and Fire, George Burns.
Oh my
it's
god!
Amazing! It's amazing. It's one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh my god!
All right, I think we call it a night on that.
I think we have to.
All right, I'll tell you what, Eric.
Please.
I will watch that movie over the next week.
I'll get you a copy. I'll buy you a copy on Amazon. I don't care.
Great, and make sure that George Seltzer signs it. Okay.
Oh yeah. As I recall, you can get this movie for $10 on DVD.
Previously viewed.
I have VHS copies of this movie. I have Blu-ray. Oh, actually, you can rent it for $3.99 from.
You have a Laserdisc
on Prime, or buy it for $8.39.
He has it on Betamax.
I have a lot of copies of this movie.
I have the Game Boy version.
It is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is.
I do have several Laserdiscs, but not of Sergeant Pepper.
I wish I had this on Laserdisc. I would totally. Look at that, $8.39 for a DVD copy.
IMDb.
I like how they do list the VHS tape. Yes.
Oh yeah, you can get it on VHS.
Wait, this has a Blu-ray release, and Batman: The Mask of the Phantasm doesn't.
Look at the ratings on this movie. Look at the third. This
How
movie
many of these did you buy, Eric? That you rated it that many times?
Look at the love for this
He
movie.
sleeps on a bed of them.
Arrived sooner than expected. Easy to order in the
NC-17. Wait, what was that?
Great.
I would totally
Five-star
sleep on
movie.
one of these movies. That'd be amazing.
I have to go back and pause this.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. We should do a watch along.
So
for this
prompt. Just so prompt.
Dan, what am I in for? Is this going to be horrifying?
Yeah, don't.
You know, you are all lucky that the pirate movie is not available anywhere.
I would love to watch the pirate movie.
I would love
Pirates the pirate movie.
Pumping, blowing. Come on.
So we can see the acting chops of Christy McNichol.
Yeah.
She can
I had
act.
her sign she signed my soundtrack. She's I mean, it's available. You could buy a copy, but it's $35 to buy a copy of the pirate movie.
Oh, I'm sure you can
Look,
find
it's
it.
not
on
Oh,
eBay.
it's literally called The Pirate Movie. I thought you guys were like,
the pirate movie.
No, and the cover is all you need to know about it.
Oh,
There's loads of
it's
fun for
glorious.
everyone that
I
you
do remember
guys
Eric
are
loving this
welcome.
movie when we were in
Oh.
high school.
Still love this movie.
Is this a parody movie?
It is of Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah, sort of. It's a musical parody.
Yeah, it's a musical parody of the Pirates of Penzance.
Right,
kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. Not. Oh, it's. I don't think I would actually.
Almost nobody has acquired.
They won awards for crying out loud.
Really?
So
yeah.
For most prompt delivery.
They won ACTA Award for Best Supporting Actor in Film and ACTA Award for Best Costume Design in Film.
I
don't know what an ACTA is.
Did it win for
It's like
very
a loogie.
bot?
That's the Australian Institute.
A loogie. Wow. Nice. There it is. Wow. It's like a loogie.
I mean, it's got Pump and Blow and How Can I Live Without Her? I mean,
happy ending.
The songs are so great.
Okay, so I'm in for Airplane the Musical with pirates. This will be great.
Oh, that's a good way to put it. That's a great way to put it, actually. It's
more like Airplane 2, the musical.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so
Not
good. It's
peak
not as,
comedy.
I don't know if it's as good as Sgt. Pepper, but it is. It's really good.
I still wish Mel
It
Brooks
holds
did
up better as a movie than Sgt. Pepper, which is not to say that it's good, but at least it makes some semblance of sense.
Man,
the Bee Gees should be heard and not seen.
Oh,
I
They're
like
my
the Bee Gees.
childhood.
I cannot stand that movie.
I apologize.
I love that.
But not Sgt. Pepper.
What's your favorite song?
So good.
Is it
From
Harry
that?
Potter?
My favorite song.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Off the deep end.
From your childhood. Okay.
All
From my
right.
childhood, there's too
All
many.
right. And on that message, anybody who wants to stick around and watch Sgt. Pepper can do that. No, I'm kidding. Have a good night.
It's all
I'll
on
see you in
TikTok.
act that movie.
We will see you in deep space. No.
Oh yeah.
All 9 of you.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.